It may be hard to understand in some ways just how obsessed the world was with Taylor and Burton, unless you were alive during that time. So here to help us get a better feel for that is Nancy Schoenberger, who's the co-author of Furious Love, Elizabeth Taylor, Richard Burton, and the Marriage of the Century. Furious, passionate, incredible love, which you, Nancy, got a better feel for because Liz Taylor let you see some of these love letters, which were just astounding, the honesty that they shared with one another.
Yes, we're so grateful to her that she allowed us to have this inside glimpse into that, you know, fabled marriage and the letters themselves. I have to tell you, when I first held those letters in my hands and read them, I didn't expect this, but tears sprang to my eyes because the passion was so real and his love for her was so genuine.
It was so raw, and the way he talks about her, she is seems to be an addiction of his, one that he just cannot kick.
Well, he was no stranger to addictions.
No.
I mean, he was well known for having a terrible problem with alcohol, which probably shortened his life, and as did she, although she was able to get help for it later on. She went to the Betty Ford Clinic famously, but the passion was there. In fact, in one letter, Richard Burton wrote, "I am forever being punished by the gods for stealing the fire and trying to put it out. The fire, of course, is you."
He even called her his ocean because of her deep, overpowering presence. It was a presence, though, that did not just have a hold on Richard Burton. There were a number of men, as we know, and he was not the first one that she stole. In today's terms, do you think she would have continued to be such a star, such an icon, given the private life?
Well, you know, her career spanned almost 7 decades. She was the most famous actress in her day, and I think it's hard to know. When she finally retired from film, it was for all kinds of reasons. But I do know that she always held out the hope that there might have been a third marriage. She had 8 marriages to 7 men. She married Richard Burton twice, and she felt in her heart of hearts that had Richard survived, there may have been a third time around.
He did write. His last letter to her was literally right before he passed.
Yes, right. And he mailed it before he died. He died suddenly of a cerebral brain hemorrhage. And she received the letter when she returned back from London, when she attended his memorial service. And back in Los Angeles, there was this final letter waiting for her. It was the one letter she would not let us read because it was just too personal, too close.
Did she give you any inkling of what was in it or what it was like for her to read it, especially coming back from that service?
Yes, the implication is that he always loved her. He still loved her and missed her and wanted to come home. And home was where she was.
What was it about them? Because they had this very, as we just saw in that 60 Minutes interview, you know, it was Liz and Dick, and in the press it was Liz and Dick, and this was their very, very public, and she was very
those terms,
public.
By the way.
Well, and in private, though, was it a different relationship than what was seen in public?
Yes, we write that there were 2 marriages. There was the public marriage of Liz and Dick, which was the tabloid fodder, and the battling Burtons, and they loved these public fights. And then there was the private marriage of Richard and Elizabeth, and they tried to protect that. And it was hard because they were so famous that it was just hard to make a life. In fact, when they bought their yacht, the Charisma, they spent 2 years really pretty much living on the yacht. And as we noted, they were too famous to live on land. That was their refuge.
What is, with such extraordinary access that you were given, what's the one thing that surprised you the most?
I think the degree to which Burton loved and needed her, because when he first embarked on that affair, a lot of people speculated, well, he's just trying to boost his own career as a movie star and a movie actor, although, you know, he was a famous theatrical talent and Shakespearean actor, but didn't quite make it to the top ring of, you know, film actors. But so I kind of bought that idea, but when I saw those letters, I said, no. This is a man who's passionately in love and desperately needs this woman.
It is a fascinating read.
Thank you.
So thanks for sharing some of it with us. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Nancy Schoenberger joining us this morning.